Hi there. This is Michelle Prince, CEO and founder of Performance Publishing Group. And I want to help you to figure out ways to make a huge impact with your book. How do you launch your book to build your brand? That is a question we get asked a lot here at Performance Publishing Group. So let me give you 12 ways that I know will enable you to build a brand, to launch your book, and to make an impact in your personal and professional life, as well as the lives of thousands and thousands of other people. Number one, in order to launch a book is you have to write a book, but that is really more tied to your brand. I believe if you're trying to build your platform, build your brand, a book is one of the best ways to do that. Why? Because one, we put a lot of clout and credibility to people who write books. We believe that an author is the authority. In fact, I wrote a book called The Power of Authority, and it's a play on words. You can't spell authority without author. When you have a book, you are instantly an authority, a thought leader, credible in the eyes of the people that you want to impact. So you got to start there. And yes, I have a publishing company, and yes, I may be a little biased on that, but I've seen it happen over and over and over and over and over and over again, not just in my own life, but in the lives of thousands of authors who've realized that this is a great way to begin building your brand. One of the easiest. But you can't just write a book, right? You have to publish it. You have to distribute it. You need to work with a publisher that knows what they're doing. There are so many people that self-publish. Nothing wrong with that. However, if you are writing a book to build your brand, people judge a book by its cover. So you want to make sure that you are creating a book that matches the brand you're wanting to build. It's important to consider outsourcing that to a company that knows what they're doing, that has editors and designers who have done this over and over and over again. Yes, you can do it yourself, but we're talking about building a brand right now. I do believe that this is probably one of the best investments you can make is to get a publisher. I would suggest a hybrid publisher for a nonfiction book, or what we call our publishing companies, we're partner publishing. We're not just going to publish a book for you. We're going to partner with you to help you not just publish it, but to launch it as well. You have to publish it, distribute it, and get it online for sale. There's so many things within that process. I've created some videos around that distribution process if you want to check those out. But you got to get a book out, written, and published. But what are some other ways you can build your brand? Well, one of the easiest ways when you have a book is to have a website for the book. You want to start building that landing page. Now, you already may have a website for your business, so even easier, just add it to it. Making sure everyone knows that you are an author immediately is so important. And by the way, secret tip, you don't have to wait till a book is published to be building this, to be building your brand. Because from the moment you start working on a book, you are now the author of the forthcoming book, whatever the title is. Leverage it. Branding is about leverage. Build that website, get it out there, create a way to start building a list. So having a book and publishing it is great, but if you don't have anyone to sell it to, not so good. So why not start that now? Why not start getting a website and gathering information? You can capture their contact information. You can give something away. You can give away a chapter of the book or even a digital download of the book. If you see your book as the door opener, not at all about just selling books, you'll understand the merit behind that. Just making sure you're getting people's contact information. One of the things I do a lot of speaking, and this little book, we call these business card mini books. We publish a lot of these because it has a purpose. It is intended for someone to read it, to get some great information, but the conclusion at the end of it is, I need to work with this person. I need to come to their event. I need to book them as my coach. What I do is when I speak, I give away my business card in exchange for their business card. It's an equal swap. And what I'm doing with that information is then getting it into my database. I'm staying in touch with them, and I'm building my list so that when the book is available for sale, I have people to sell it to. All right, another way to build your brand, step 5, is obviously social media. No matter if you like it or hate it, I can't say I love it. It's just something you have to do. That's where people are. You go where the people are. So whether it's Facebook or LinkedIn or Instagram or Twitter or YouTube, whatever is the one or two that really resonates most with you, you have to be out there. doing videos, doing posts, letting them know the value. Take pieces of your book and make them quotes and put them on social. Don't overthink it. In fact, this is what we do for our authors. We recommend take the content that you've already written and repurpose it. Repurpose it in a website, repurpose it in social posts, repurpose it in blogs, which is another step that I recommend. Rather than going through and writing new blog posts, if you're going to be doing blogs or video blogs or anything like that, why not just go through your book and take a section at a time? One chapter of a book is an article that could be pushed out online somewhere. You can shorten it and make it a blog post. Same content, just shortened. You can shorten it even more. And now it's a social media post. You can take that same chapter and you can create a podcast conversation around that. These are just some of the ideas to see your book as the ability to help you brand easier. But it starts with that book. And once you have the book and you're beginning to launch it, which means you're beginning to let people know about it, it's beginning to be available for sale, then you want to have emails sent. Some people go to social, but not everybody. So making those posts on social and sending out emails with information, value, opportunities for them to buy the book is so important. Another step that I highly recommend, if you're writing a full book, personal or professional development, you must have an audiobook. This is something we do for our authors. We have a audiobook production services company, and we do this for our authors in one of the easiest ways possible. But you can't do the audiobook till a physical book is complete. You can't publish an audiobook until a physical book has been published. So it starts with a physical book, but audiobook is something that you have to do to capture a wider audience. You will, it's think of it as like throwing out a net. A book is going to get some people in. An audiobook and a physical book is going to get a lot more people in. That's how you build your brand. Digital courses. This is so simple to do once you have a book, because your digital course is really a summary of your book. In fact, I've done this multiple times for my books. The Power of Authority. I wrote that book in 2019, 18 or 19. And then shortly after, I did the audiobook. Shortly after, I created a digital course. Now, is it the same content from the book? Absolutely. Am I reading it? No. I went to a studio and I took each chapter, each main thought, and I created a video. And I gave them all this great information, and they had a workbook and things like that. You can do the exact same thing. You don't have to make it crazy professional, though. For my last book I launched, Shine Through Your Story, I did the exact same thing through Zoom. For the launch period, which I'll cover in another video, the 6 weeks leading up to my launch date, every week I would get on my Facebook Live in my Facebook community, my launch team, and I would record parts of the book. And so those 6 weeks I bundled together, and that is a 6-module digital course that I can sell, I can give away. It's value to someone who may or may not ever sit down and read my book, or maybe they'll never listen to my book in an audiobook, but maybe they prefer to go through a course. You don't want to keep anything left on the table. You want to make sure you get your message to as many people as possible. And we all like to learn in a different way. One of the ways that I built my business, and I highly recommend you do in order to build your brand, is to do speaking. Now, you don't have to want to be a motivational speaker or paid speaker. There's a lot of opportunity in your local community. Maybe you want to speak at your chamber or the Rotary Club or all of these networking groups that bring in speakers. That's a great place to start. Then looking at conferences, where could you bring value to that conference with the information from your book? So again, you're hitting more people. Rather than selling one-to-one, which would mean you having a phone conversation, a breakfast meeting, a lunch meeting, when you speak, you're selling one-to-many. The audience feels like you're speaking directly to them, but you could be speaking to 200 people at one time. Talk about a very quick way to build your brand. It's through speaking. And then I already mentioned it, but I can't stress it enough, the importance of taking your core message from your book and creating a podcast. We are in an age that people are learning through video and audio. Podcasting is so important. And, you can dual purpose it. What I do with I have a podcast called The Power of Authority Spotlight. And what I do is purposely videotape it over Zoom. Now, a podcast is just audio, right? So if you go to the podcast channels, you're just going to hear it. But I record it over Zoom so that I upload that video to YouTube. Then I pull the audio out, and that's what goes to podcast. We're getting the same message out, but in different areas, because some people may not ever go to my podcast, but they may find my YouTube video. These are just some of the ways. There are many, many, many more ways that you can launch your book and build your brand. But I really want to stress that you can't really truly build a brand for people to know you, like you, and trust you unless you have a book that they can discover you. And it's just one more added layer of credibility, so that it is a natural conclusion when somebody sees you like, oh, wow, he has a book and a podcast and a digital course, and he's doing all these other things. Wow, he must be the expert. For more information about how we can help you to launch your book, well, first of all, to write your book, publish your book, and then also to launch your book, go to performancepublishinggroup.com and grab a free strategy call. Let's see how we can help you in whatever phase of the process you're in. Again, performancepublishinggroup.com, or just email us at support@performancepublishinggroup.com. Thanks so much.